Welcome to Living With It. Today's episode is personal and unfiltered. We're sitting down with Liz, who lives every day with trigeminal neuralgia. Often called the suicide disease, TN is one of the most painful chronic conditions a person can endure. This isn't a clinical overview or a polished success story. It's a real conversation about what it's like to function, work, and keep going when pain doesn't take a day off. Liz shares what the condition actually feels like, how it reshapes daily life, and the coping strategies that make survival possible. If you live with chronic pain, care for someone who does, or want to understand what living with it truly means, this episode sets the tone for everything this podcast stands for.
Welcome, Liz. I want to start with asking you a very simple question. For someone who's never heard of trigeminal neuralgia, how would you describe the pain that you feel in real-world terms?
Imagine cattle prod combined with a battery car charger hitting your face every 30 seconds, or drilling into your teeth without Novocaine. That's what it feels like, along with boring pain, a constant ache in your ear. Your eye feels like it's being beaten with a baseball bat.
What does a typical bad day look like for you from the moment you wake up?
A bad day is one where I open my eyes and I know I want to go back asleep, because for the most part, if I can get to sleep, I don't feel the pain. So that's why I say wanting to just go back asleep. So a typical bad day will be getting up and taking my medicines, letting the dogs out, simple things like that I have to do. Most everything else goes by the wayside for the day on a bad day. And then I'll find my way back to bed, tuck myself back in, and maybe put a heating pad by my face. I can't put it on my face because that hurts, but just on my neck, by my face, and just pray to God I make it through the day.
Right. So no energy, no enthusiasm.
No.
Just go back to sleep and let it pass.
That's all I have the energy for. When you're in that much pain, you can't focus on anything. You can't think about anything, and it's really hard to do anything.
Right.
In reality.
Sure. What everyday activities trigger a flare of TN pain that most people just take for granted, like eating or brushing your teeth or any of those things? What kind of triggers do you experience?
Well, I would almost say what doesn't trigger it. That list would probably be shorter. No, seriously. So, hair touching my face, which is why my hair is up and back. Somebody wanting to kiss me on the lips. You can't do that for the most part. Drinking, I can't drink cold drinks. I have to drink a straw. I have to have it room temperature. Crunching, or I should say eating hard, crunchy things, eating cold things, ice creams by the wayside, brushing my teeth, even trying to gargle with Listerine. Some days I can maybe, if I'm lucky, put a tiny little bit of Listerine in my mouth and let it warm up, and then just give it a slightest little whoosh around. And that's my oral hygiene for the day. Going outside, a breeze, air conditioning, fan, talking, So it's almost everything can and will set it off sometimes.
So, how would you say that this condition has changed the way that you plan your life on a day-to-day basis?
Well, since having this condition, making plans are impossible. I'm not knowing when the pain is going to spike, how my day's going to go. I could start off good, but then 15 minutes later, it's gone to HELL
Right.
in a handbasket.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's nearly impossible to make any sort of plans.
So difficult to make day-to-day plans, but really a week out or a month out is really just out of the question.
Oh, that's impossible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you were talking about triggers a minute ago, and how does the weather trigger your TN?
Wintertime is a horrible time for me because of the cold, the damp. It makes it all just hurt that much more. It makes the triggers that much worse, that more frequent. So winter is horrible. Springtime with the breeze is horrible time too. So summertime is my happy time. It's where it's nice and hot and the wind is usually not blowing.
Okay. So where you live, pretty good weather most of the time. Mild winters. The summers are not too terribly hot. They do have a lot of wind. How does the elevation affect your flares?
It really doesn't affect my flares. I thought that it did years ago. We thought it did, and my one neurologist at the time recommended we move down to sea level. He said maybe the elevation's causing it to act up so much because I was having so many flares, such a hard time. And so we actually sold our house, moved down to sea level, and we're right by the beach. But then the weather there, the storms would come in. You'd get all those summer storms that'd be just rolling in. And it was the barometric pressure that just was horrible. So there, summer was the bad time of year for me because of the storms that came through and the barometric changes that somehow, set things off.
All right. What coping strategies actually help you to get through the pain, and which coping strategies have been recommended to you that just really don't work at all?
Isolation and quiet is my best and favorite coping strategy. Watching, having the TV on quietly in the background sometimes. A lot of times, even that is too much. So, really, just resting with my eyes closed, honestly. So, basically, shutting off the world. The thing that really doesn't work and what's been suggested to me was lose weight and I need to find a happy place to go to every day so that I don't need to take medicine. That was by a primary care doctor that I had.
Who really didn't understand what trigeminal neuralgia was.
No, that was my one and only visit with her.
I see.
I quit her after that.
Right, right. So someone who really did not have any empathy for what you were going through.
Well, it wasn't even that she didn't have empathy. She didn't even know what it was. If she knew what it was, she would not have even mentioned such things.
Right. How do you deal with the emotional and mental toll of the unpredictability of the pain flares?
It's emotionally and mentally exhausting. It really is. So my strong faith and prayer, I would have to say, is what really helped me in that department. I would say crying, but a lot of times even crying's too painful. You can't even cry.
Right.
So just cuddling with my dogs and just snuggling up in bed or pacing, trying to make through the day.
Sure. What role has medication and procedures and alternative treatments had in alleviating the pain of trigeminal neuralgia for you?
I would have to say I've tried it all. I have tried acupuncture in the past. I've tried chiropractic. Medication is a must, at least for me anyway. It's a must. If not, I would have been one of those suicidal statistics, honestly. So my medication just get the pain down to a level where it's manageable, where I can make it through the day.
Sure.
Unless I'm really in a flare. So my medication, I've had a couple of procedures. I had a gamma knife. Unfortunately, that did not work. And then I had a MVD surgery. That's where they go in skull base.
So that's microvascular decompression?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they went in and tried to decompress. I had a couple of arteries that were pressing on the nerve, and they decompressed it. But in the process, it unfortunately was not successful for whatever reason, and it caused nerve damage. So I have permanent nerve damage. So I have a lot of extra damage. I have a condition called anesthesia dolorosa. So it feels like fire ants are eating my face and my lips up to midpoint of where that nerve ends. So I have fire ants that eat me all the time.
So this anesthesia dolorosa, this started after your microvascular decompression.
Yes, it was a complication of it.
I see. Okay. We're going to take a little break. And then when we come back, we will continue our discussion about trigeminal neuralgia. So stay with us.
Living with a chronic health condition isn't rare, it's the norm. 6 in 10 Americans live with at least one chronic illness, and 4 in 10 live with 2 or more. Living with it. Practical coping strategies for chronic health conditions cuts through the noise with clear, usable guidance. No cliches, no false promises. This book helps you manage daily symptoms, reduce stress, communicate better with doctors and family, and regain a sense of control over your life. If you're tired of just getting by, it's time to learn how to live well with it. Whether you're living with COPD, diabetes, Crohn's disease, sickle cell anemia, or any of the hundreds of other chronic illnesses, Chronic illness doesn't belong to just one person. It reshapes an entire household. Living with it recognizes that truth. For patients, it offers practical ways to manage symptoms, protect mental health, and regain a sense of control when life feels dictated by diagnoses and appointments. It speaks plainly, without judgment, and focuses on what actually helps day to day. Living with it. Practical coping strategies for chronic health conditions is available at Amazon. Scan the QR code to learn more.
Okay, we're back with Liz, and we're talking about trigeminal neuralgia. And what I want to ask you next is, how has this condition affected your relationships, and how would you compare the way it affects your relationships now to how it affected, or to how your relationships were prior to being diagnosed with this condition?
I used to be a very outgoing person, and not any longer. Now I'm very introverted. I avoid people. I avoid going out. I don't go out to the stores anymore. I don't really have any friends except for a very few small amount from my church that I know and trust and love. But otherwise, I don't. I'm not a good friend. I only because I'm so, oh, what is the word? I can't guarantee that how I'll feel that day. So it's really hard to make plans with somebody, So it's not like, hey, let's go out to lunch, and then that morning, sorry, I can't. I don't want to be that kind of a friend.
I see. I see. Let's talk about your church family for a moment, and tell us how the relationships are there, and have they been, would you say, supportive of you, and understanding of the limitations that this condition has put on you?
They have. We're in a small group. It's like a little community group, and there's 5 couples. And it's taken me a year of being in this group to actually share with them what TN is. I just actually sent a group text out with a little video of what TN is to explain what I go through so that they know what it is. And so they're understanding. They know if I miss a Sunday or two, it's because I don't feel well, and then they're that much happier to see me when I come back.
Okay.
So yeah, I really rely on their love and their prayers. They pray for me all the time.
Right, right. And so with pain being something that is not visually obvious, um, people can see when you're grimacing, and those who know what you're going through understand that you're going through that at that moment, and typically they know how to behave toward you at that point. Um, do you find that to be the case with most of the people that you deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Are you talking about it in general with the public or my friends?
With the people who know you?
Oh, yeah, they know. Basically, just leave me alone. I'm gonna go hibernate. I'm not gonna talk. I may text, but I don't
Right.
want to talk. I don't like talking on the phone because it's too much energy. It's too much effort for me, and it causes pain. So I will text, and they know that. They know that if I'm having a bad day, just leave me be.
Right. And your faith is a big part of your self-treatment.
Mhm.
Would you say that that's the case?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you wish doctors and caregivers or the public at large understood more about this condition, particularly your doctors and caregivers?
Well, it's sad that I've had so many doctors who don't know what it is and have made no effort to even look it up. A primary care doctor, um, has been my doctor for a year and still doesn't know what it is. It takes 5 minutes to go to Dr. Google.
Right. Right.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And so that says a lot,
Sure.
to me. So, and I just wish people would know that just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
That's right.
It's a very severe condition.
Right.
And it's not like you see somebody with a broken arm wearing a cast. So hey, they got a broken arm. People don't understand what this condition is, so they have a hard time knowing how to address you, doctors, they don't know what to do for you. And it's sad. There's just not enough education out about it, really.
Right. So it's often called the suicide disease. Do you think that that's an appropriately earned moniker for that?
Absolutely, because I have contemplated that many times in the middle of a big flare attack.
To what degree have you contemplated that? You haven't gone to the planning stage.
Uh, no, not me personally, but I begged my husband to please kill me. So, um, but I guess because I couldn't do it personally.
Sure.
I mean, I would never leave my family like that. That wouldn't be fair to them, So, are there many of those days that I wish I was dead? Oh, absolutely. I'd be like, Lord, I'm ready to go home. Take me home. And, but he doesn't, he hasn't. So I continue on. And many a days, like I say, that I begged my husband to please shoot me. But then we managed to get to the hospital, get some help, and make it through. So, if you can just get to somebody something that will help break that pain, you can make it on to the next minute, and then the next minute, and then the next minute.
Sure. Sure. Um, and the hospitals that you go to, the main hospital that you go to, um, they know what you're going through. They know how to treat you.
My emergency room that I'm affiliated with, where my doctor is, he put emergency orders in my chart. So if I go and I say, my name is blah, 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 I'm having a TN attack, I need you to pull up my emergency orders, they will. And they will go ahead and do that. But, unfortunately, and I've been before, and I've heard so many stories of people who've gone to the emergency room begging for help and having them, the doctors or the nurses look at them like they're just drug seeking. Oh, we don't give narcotics. Oh, we can't, there's nothing we can give you. Well, no, there is something you can give me. I mean,
Yes.
absolutely, there is something you can give me.
Well,
I'm not here as a drug seeker. I'm here because I'm trying not to kill myself
right.
because the pain is so bad.
So when people talk about the opioid crisis, they're not talking about TN. They're not talking about people who have intractable pain. That's what those medications are for. They're not for people to just take for the hell of it.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take another quick break and we're going to hear a little bit from our friend Tony Shalhoub about trigeminal neuralgia.
Hi, I'm Tony Shalhoub, and I'm here to tell you about trigeminal neuralgia, a sharp, stabbing facial nerve pain so severe that it's been called the suicide disease. This is an agonizing disability that afflicts 400,000 people in the United States and millions worldwide. Until now, medication and surgery have provided limited relief, but today there is new hope. Scientists are working on ways to not only manage, but actually cure trigeminal neuralgia and all other nerve pain. The Facial Pain Research Foundation is spearheading this cutting edge work, but resources are limited. With your help, we can find a cure and save lives. Please join me and contact the Research Foundation at facingfacialpain.org.
Okay, we're back. We're talking with Liz about trigeminal neuralgia. And let me ask you, Liz, on the hardest day, what keeps you going? And what advice would you give to someone who's been newly diagnosed with this condition?
On the hardest day, what keeps me going is my family, knowing how crushed they would be if I took my life because of the pain. So they're my number one reason. My dogs, I know that they need me. They would be crushed also if their mama just disappeared. So I don't want to do that to them. So that's really what keeps me going. And what I would say to somebody newly diagnosed is if you have a lousy doctor, keep looking. Find doctors that will listen to you. Don't give up. Um, find your people. And when I say your people, I mean, there's Facebook groups out there. I'm in Facebook groups. And a lot of folks, it's too painful to talk. So we'll be on the group and you can do this, when you're in bed. Typing in the group and, saying, oh my God, I'm dying. I'm having a bad day. And, people will support you in whatever way they can. Meaning, hey, I'm praying for you. Hey, keep going. Hey, here's a joke or whatever it is.
So lots of prayers and lots of words of encouragement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Great. What else would you like to tell the people out there about trigeminal neuralgia and how you deal with it?
I would say for family members, trust the person. So, like me, trust me. If I say I'm having a bad day, trust me that I really am. Let me dictate what I need to make it through the day, what I need to feel better. Don't tell me what you think I need to do because I pretty much know it, especially after having it for 13 years. I mean, somebody maybe who's a newbie, they guide them a little bit. Absolutely. They'll try it. They'll see what works, what doesn't work. Absolutely. But trust somebody that let them guide their day of what they need to make it through the day. So that's what I would say. And I would say, support your people as a family member. Support them. Ask them, how can I best support you? What can I do when you're having a bad day? What can I do when you're having a good day? What would you like to do on your good days? How can we make the most of your good day?
Right.
And for doctors, I would say, please listen to the patient. We do know our bodies. if we tell you something's wrong, if we tell you maybe, this or this or that, look into it. At least listen to them. Don't discard them in what they're saying, because there's nothing more discouraging for us as a patient to feel like that, to be talking to a doctor and they're
not paying attention.
no,
They're not actively listening to
they're
you.
not. Look at us.
Right.
Look at us. Listen to us.
Sure.
We're real people, and just hear what we have to say.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, Liz, I think we're going to leave it there. I want everybody to subscribe to the channel. We're a brand new channel, so we need subscribers. And look in the comment section below. You're going to find some resources on trigeminal neuralgia, as well as some links to contact us if you would like to be interviewed for a chronic condition that you might have. So for now, I'm Carson Harris. You take care and have a good day.
Here is a list of organizations dedicated to helping those suffering from trigeminal neuralgia, either by providing direct support or doing research. Remember, Trigeminal Neuralgia Awareness Day is October 7th. If you or someone you know suffers from a chronic illness and would like to be interviewed so you can tell your story, email us at livingwithitpodcast@gmail.com.